everybody, welcome back to Langston's Bookiverse. Today I wanted to do something a little different. Different for me, probably not different for booktube in general. But I wanted to do, excuse me. I was thinking about different types of videos that I could do. I got a lot of inspiration from a bunch of other booktube channels that I follow. So I'm trying to get inspiration from those other channels. So I decided to see if I could try to do like a weekly or bi-weekly TBR, what I'm gonna be planning to read for the week or for the next 2 weeks. And I thought that would be a fun thing to do every now and then. So I have some of the books that oh, I should also add, I'm also going to plan on doing like a monthly wrap up of everything that I've read for the month. So that the one for March should be coming out pretty soon. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. So now back to my TBR for the next couple weeks. So the first book I'm going to try to read is Nervous States, Democracy, and the Decline of Reason by William Davies, and Chris McDonnell is the narrator. So I'll go ahead and read you guys the description. In this sweeping and provocative work, political economist William Davies draws on a 400-year history of ideas to reframe our understanding of the contemporary world. He argues that global trends, decades and even centuries in the making, have reduced a world of logic and fact into one driven by emotions, particularly fear and anxiety. This has ushered in an age of nervous states, both in our individual bodies and our body politic, eloquently tracing the history of accounting, statistics, science, and human anatomy from the Enlightenment to the present. Davies shows how we invented expertise in the 17th century to calm the violent disputes over God and the nature of reality that ravaged Europe. By separating truth from emotions, scientific, testable facts paved a way out. By separating truth from emotions, scientific, testable facts paved a way out of constant warfare and established a basis for consensus, which became the bedrock of the modern politics, business, and democracy. Informed by research on psychology and economics, Davies reveals how widespread feelings of fear, vulnerability, physical and psychological pain, and growing inequality reshaped our politics, upending these centuries-old ideas of how we understand the world and organize society. So this sounds really interesting. I've been learning so much about this kind of this kind of thing from other sources, and I'm really excited to really dig down into this topic. I love stuff like this, and I have noticed a lot of stuff, especially online and on social media platforms like YouTube, the one you're watching right now, Twitter, even some things on Facebook, how it seems that a lot of people, myself included, it feels like a lot of us, we base our opinions on our initial reaction to a thing, to anything that happens. Like, for example, I don't know if you've heard, but the slap that was heard around the world at the Oscars last night. I'm here for all the jokes that people make on Twitter. I'm never gonna deny that I was laughing my behind off last night and this morning and throughout the whole day while I was working. I'm not gonna lie that I was laughing at all those jokes. But I did notice that pretty soon after the slap happened and social media got a hold of it, it started out with jokes, and then it moved towards this weird, like a weird analysis of something that, if I'm being honest, I don't know if it was that deep. Um, and again, this is like one day after the fact. So even now, I feel like I'm still giving my initial reaction on this whole thing. Um, so I do it too. We all do it. It's not, I'm not trying to be on some like moral superiority type stuff. Um, but it's something that I think is really interesting, and sometimes I feel like it can get it can just kind of go way too far. Um, and it kind of worries me because I've seen a lot of negative effects of this type of this type of reaction, or having, or making that, like, announcing it on social media. It's like it almost seems like people aren't allowed to change their mind. Sometimes, like, it feels like when more information becomes available, it's almost like people don't, and I'm completely speculating here. It's almost like people feel as though they can't take it back. Like they have to stick to their guns on what they thought about the topic, like 5 minutes after it happened, and like that has to be their stance. That's it. They can't. It almost like changing your mind is sort of seen as backing down and somehow losing. Um, so yeah, stuff like that really troubles me, and so I'm really interested to see where Nervous States takes this, and especially as it relates to politics. Um, so there's that. Really excited. And let me go into my up next thing on Storygraph. I love this. I love the up next feature, and I love how Storygraph gives you picks your next book for you, almost. Actually, well, not almost. It does. Um, I'm horrible at making decisions sometimes. My friend tells me it's because I'm a Gemini. I don't know, but I am horrible at making decisions. Sometimes I'm so indecisive sometimes about stuff. I'm like, I don't know which book I should read next. I want to read all of them next, and then I'm like, no, wait, I can't read all of the books at the same time. I don't think that's gonna work out. So, yeah. But yeah, let me get to the next one. So this next book is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and this is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And Alma Cuervo is a narrator. Julian Wellhun is another narrator, and Robin Miles is the third narrator um, of this book. I'm already really interested because, like, the fact that it has three narrators, I'm wondering where it's gonna go. But let me go ahead and read you the description. So, aging and reclusive Hollywood movie icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant for the job, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Why her? Why now? Monique is not exactly on the top of the world. Her husband has left her, and her professional life is going nowhere. Regardless of why Evelyn has selected her to write her biography, Monique is determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career. Summoned to Evelyn's luxurious apartment, Monique listens in fascination as the actress tells her story, from making her way to Los Angeles in the 1950s, to her decision to leave show business in the 80s, and of course, the seven husbands along the way. Evelyn unspools a tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and a great forbidden love. Monique begins to feel a very real connection to the legendary star, but as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in tragic and irreversible ways. I'm excited for this. Just reading, I'm sort of rereading the description. I think I read some of the description when I initially put it on my TBR, but I do not remember much of it. So I'm sort of getting my thoughts on this with you guys. This sounds exciting. I can't wait. I really like the I like that it's almost like a period, like a historical fiction book in some ways. I feel like there's a good mystery surrounding it. I like it seems like there might it seems like there will be some queer representation in this book, so I'm looking forward to that. Especially if what I'm thinking is going to happen will happen. It'll be interesting to see that perspective of a queer woman in the 50s and compare it to the 80s. Um, excuse me. It'll be really cool to see that. So I'm really hyped for this. Can't wait to read it. And yeah, hope you enjoy it too if you decide to read it. Let's go to the next one. Actually, let me just open all of these since it's taking a while for my tabs to open. All right. So the next book on my TBR list for the week is The God Engines by John Scalzi. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So here's the description. Captain Ian Tefe is a man of faith whose allegiance to his lord and to his ship is uncontested. The bishopry militant knows this, and so when it uses ship and crew to undertake a secret, sacred mission to a hidden land, Tefe is the captain to whom the task is given. Tefe knows from the start that his mission will be a test of his skill as a leader of men and as a devout follower of his God. It's what he doesn't know that matters, to what ends his faith and his ship will ultimately be put, and that the test he will face will come not only from his God and the bishopry militant, but from another, more benevolent source entirely. This sounds really, really cool. Yeah, I love the. It seems like it's gonna be. It seems like it's gonna be really kind of dark. It is listed. One of the genres listed on Scribd does say horror, so I'm really excited about that. I don't read much horror. Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to remember the last time I read a horror book. I feel like it was like. Shoot, it was probably when I was a kid, and it was probably Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which that did scare me when I was like 8. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm putting this book. I remember reading that book as a kid and reading a couple stories, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of scared now. I'm gonna close this book and do something else. But so yeah, so the God Engines does sound really good. I like the fact that it seems like this guy Ian is going to go on like a internal journey of his faith and the God that he believes in. I don't mind saying I do identify as Christian, and so and I like how I always like it when characters in books sort of grapple with their beliefs and and really question it. Like, am I doing the right thing? Is this what God wants me to do? Does this seem like a kind thing to do? You know, I'm going by faith because I'm not sure if this guy's gonna get like a message from God or whatever, but but you know, I get the feeling of I understand the feeling of I'm gonna do this on faith, even though this seems kind of crazy. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. I'm also interested to see this bishopry militant group that I guess is I'm guessing that's part of the church. There's like a church military organization, which does scare me because I feel like religious military, not exactly a good track record. For anybody. Yeah, I feel like throughout history, it's just hasn't really worked out that great. It's been lots of murder. um, Crusades comes to mind. Um, so it seems like there also might be a little bit of well, never mind. I take that back. I was about to say it seemed like there was going to be some colonial aspect of this, but I don't. Looking at this again, I'm not sure if that's in there. Um, but yeah, I'm interested to know what this malevolent source that the description mentions is. I'm assuming that's going to be our big bad. Um, and so yeah, this sounds really interesting. Actually, it almost reminds me of this game called um, what's it called? Greedfall. It's sort of giving me those kind of vibes. By the way, I need to finish that game because I think I stopped at like a really sad part in the story, and I was so sad. I was so sad at that part of the story that I didn't want to finish because I knew where it was gonna go, and I didn't want to finish it. Um, but so yeah, I need to get on that too. So yeah, that is the God Engines. So, the next book that I'm going to try to read this week is The Untelling by T.R.E. Jones. T.R.E. Jones. And the description says, Arya is no stranger to tragedy. 15 years ago, a family outing took the lives of her father and baby sister, leaving remaining members of this fractured family struggling with their own guilt, real and imagined. At 25, Arya believes she can reinvent herself through her planned marriage, with all its promise of a family of her own. Her infertility changes her life as swiftly and irrevocably as the urban landscape around her. With prose that is both eloquent and unflinching, Jones charts the emotional journey of her characters as they explore the painful territory of truth and the healing landscape of forgiveness. This sounds really good. I really like this. So this is contemporary fiction. Um, I really, I really like the fact that I like stories about forgiveness. I think forgiveness is something that's very, very hard to do sometimes. A lot of times. Um, and so I'm really interested to see where this goes, especially because I'm guessing like the description even says like her dad and her little sister and her baby sister are have died, and so she has to struggle with that. I'm from this. I'm getting the feeling that she might feel like her family is broken now because of this, and she sort of rationalizes in her head or comes up with this idea in her head that getting married and having her own children will fix everything. Um, and then it looks like she has some infertility issues that damage that idea that she had as the way to fix everything. Um, and I know that's got to be some painful stories. I know people, I know women specifically who who have had a lot of fertility issues, and anytime it's come up in conversation, they tell me what it's like to see friends and relatives who are having kids and knowing and like trying to reconcile with the fact that it seems so easy for everybody else. Why isn't it, why do I need to work so hard at this thing that I really, really want, um So I love that this book seems to be going there. Um, and yeah, and I can't wait to read it. So that is the Untelling. The last book that I have listed um, is Boyproof by Cecil Castellucci. I feel like I butchered that name. I apologize to any Italians who may be listening. Because I feel like I butchered your whole language. So here's the description. Meet Egg. Her real name is Victoria Jurgen, but she's renamed herself after the kick-ass heroine of her favorite sci-fi movie, Terminal Earth. Like her namesake, Egg dresses in all white, colors her eyebrows, and shaves her head. She's always known the right answers. She's always in control, and she's far too busy, taking photos for the school paper, meeting with the science fiction and fantasy club, and hanging out at the creature shop with her dad, the special effects makeup wizard, to be bothered with friends, much less members of the opposite sex. As far as Egg is concerned, she's boy-proof. She likes it that way. But then Egg meets a boy named Max, a boy who's smart and funny and creative and cool, and happens to like Egg. Could this be the end of the world? At least as Egg knows it. So, I like the idea of this. I do admit, I'm usually not that into romance novels. But I think this was recommended by somebody. I think it was probably recommended by somebody on BookTube, but I think I remember them talking about how much they liked it. So I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, and I say I'm not super. I'm not super into romance, but that doesn't mean I won't read it every now and then. And it also doesn't mean I don't like romance in any plots of books I do like. Like, I like to have a romance in my fantasy books that I read. I think that's just part of. I think that's. Excuse me. I think that's part of the way a lot of people experience life, is that they meet somebody that they're interested in and that they fall in love with. So I'm interested to see where this goes. This is also a contemporary fiction, it looks like. I do like how that it's listed under Storygraph as fast-paced. So I really like. I usually like fast-paced books more, because sometimes I feel like with slower-paced books, my brain just kind of tunes out stuff sometimes, or like if stuff isn't happening, I feel like I can lose interest pretty quickly. So I think that's a good thing. And yeah, and I can't wait to see, like, I know. I'm also sort of laughing at she's renamed herself as Egg, after this character, that she likes in one of her favorite movies. I'm not gonna lie, I do the same thing with, like, my gamer stuff, my gamer usernames. It's usually gonna be Static or something like that. I love Static Shock, so that's sort of why. So I can definitely identify with that. I also really get how it's like she thinks she's boy-proof, and the fact that she's not really interested in having. It seems like, sorry, yeah, I'm giving my initial impression. I have not read this book yet, but it seems like she's like she doesn't really have much interest in anything romantic, but I'm also a little concerned because it seems like she doesn't really have any desire for a lot of social interaction. Let me go back and see. Yeah, it seems like, yeah, it says she doesn't have time to be bothered with friends. And I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. You need friends, especially I'm guessing this girl is in like high school or something. Like, I would not have survived high school without my friends. You know, I'm like, oh, I hope she gets friends at the end of the book. It seems like she, like she has a good relationship with her dad, which I really like. Um, and sorry, I had something in my teeth. She's really active in a lot of school, in a lot of clubs. Um, okay, so maybe she does have social interaction because it says that she's taking photos of the school paper and meeting with the with the science fiction and fantasy club. So I'm like, okay, that's social interaction, hopefully. Um, but yeah, so this sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's not. It doesn't sound like something I would be super into. Um, but I'll give it a shot and see how I like it. Um, yeah, so that's everything. Yeah, that's everything on my TBR list for the week. Um, so we'll see if I can read all of these in a week. I doubt it. So this might just be my TBR for the next 2 weeks, maybe week and a half. Um, so I think I'll make another one of these after I'm done with all of the books that I listed, and um, and uh, and I'll wait till then to make a new one of these. Um, so yeah, comment below on like if you've read any of these books, and you want to say something about them. Feel free. I think that's really good. I think that'd be really cool. Please, no spoilers, because a lot of these sound really, really interesting. So yeah, if you want to comment on any of the books that I've read, do you like these books? Do you not so much like them? Is there an author that I listed that you really, really like? And if there is, please feel free to drop suggestions for other books. I'm always taking suggestions. My entire TBR list is insanely long. There's over 1,000 books on here on Storygraph. I have a problem. But yeah, I really look forward to you guys commenting and let me know if you like videos like this, and I'll do my best to make more. I'll also make sure to drop links for all these books in the description box, just where I got them off of Scribd. Scribd. Let me see. Maybe not Scribd. Well, maybe yeah. So I might do like if they're on Scribd, I'll put the link to Scribd on there. I'll also link the Storygraph and Goodreads. I also just found this other source called Open Library, and it is. Let me go to that page real quick. So it's like it seems like it's this, here it is. Okay, here's the description. It's an open, editable library catalog building towards a web page for every book ever published. So I thought that was really cool. I haven't used it yet. So if you've used it, also let me know in the comments and let me know how you like it. Is it a good source? I haven't really got a chance to look at the amount of books that they have in there. So are there a lot of books in there? Are you likely to find stuff you're looking for in there? If you know, again, let me know. So yeah, I'll be putting a link to the open library links for these books if I can find them. And yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, let me know. I think I said this already. Let me know if you like these type of videos, and I'll do more of them if I can. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, rest of the week. Make sure you drink your water, because you gotta stay hydrated. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. See you.